Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back, KS family. Our community's mission is to bring more kindness, integrity, and skill into the crypto space. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently down 0.6% to 36,867. Ethereum down 1.35% to 2653. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. If you're going through a life pullback at the moment, please know that our love and healing thoughts are with you as a community. You're not alone. There's always hope, and the sun will come out again. I've seen a dramatic increase in scammer activity, so therefore I'm just using this one official email from now on to contact you, kstandf@gmail.com. If I send from that to you, that's an official email. The other thing, if anybody asks you for money and is pretending to be me, it's just a fantasy. They're a scammer. I do not ask for money. We only have one thing, which is our knowledge transfer through the masterclass. Also, I'm getting reports of people pretending to be CTKS ambassadors. To check the ambassador status, please go to www.cryptotechnicalanalysis.org and you will see the official CTKS ambassadors here. You can reach out and contact them on Twitter by just pressing the button there. Please just safeguard yourself. I'd like to thank the very kind and generous community members who've reached out and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/CryptoTradingKS. Thanks so much, everyone. I'd especially like to thank Jess Have Fun. Dear Ken, thank you for sharing your everyday routine. I really like your 3D concept. With determination, dedication, and discipline, you will accomplish everything you ever dreamt of. It's possible. All you need is a good enough reason. Ken, thank you for everything. We're so blessed to have you and this awesome community. Thanks so much, Jess. And thank you to Oscar. This is the public view of Buy Me a Coffee. I just want to thank you, Greg, for your comment. Very nice. And to June. Thank you for giving so generously of your time to transfer your crypto and financial knowledge in order to help all of us who have been led to both your YouTube channel and masterclass so that we can be a financial blessing to ourselves and those we love. Also, thank you for bringing together such a genuinely kind and caring community. The KS community is making the world a better place. Thanks so much, June. We have just a beautiful, beautiful group of people in our community. I appreciate you all very, very much. What I'm going to do over the next couple of days, I'm going to put a new post in here. It's going to be the Feb 2022 Coffee Club video, a guaranteed way to lose money in crypto. There's another 6 videos that sit underneath that tab, just here in the post tab. It's just my way of saying thank you very much for your kind generosity in reaching out and buying me a coffee. I'll continue to put these monthly videos in just as my way of saying thank you very much to everyone. Rule 715, be aware of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage causes losses. The best way to avoid self-sabotage, to deal with it, is to focus on real wealth and maintaining a positive excellence life trend. A positive excellence life trend is one of kindness, integrity, decency, inner peace and outer peace. It's trying to understand your way through conflict, not engage in it. A positive excellence life trend has inner peace and outer peace. And these are really, really important factors. When people approach things with kindness, they don't seek to create conflict with others. This is a really important part, and not for the reason that most people think. When you create division through conflict, you actually get demoted by life. It's actually not other people that demote you, it's life demoting you. You always want to be promoted. You are always promoted through integrity, decency, and kindness. And it may not happen instantly, but it does happen. I'd just like to point out a couple of community comments from Jason. Hi Ken, thank you for the daily real wealth analysis. It's refreshing to listen to real life wisdom and to practice each day to become a better version of ourselves and to add value and to be kind to others. That's really beautiful, Jason. I'm learning to walk the path of abundance without the chains and balls of the system we have been brainwashed at school with. And that's all about conflict and competition and all of those kind of things. Dependency as well. Not forgetting that money screams and wealth whispers. Well done, Jason. And from Ash, a really beautiful comment. Appreciate everything and everyone. Having gratitude in life is really important. When you have gratitude, you can look around at things and say, I'm happy with this. This is pretty good. But when you don't have gratitude, you're always saying, oh, I want more. Why didn't I get this? Why didn't I get that? And you can turn into George Costanza from Seinfeld. You don't want to do a George. Of course, I'm not talking about George from Cryptos R Us. George is a great guy. I guess we're all George. But don't be George Costanza from Seinfeld. Ash goes on, look upon every experience you've ever had and everyone who's ever played any role in your life as having been sent to you for your benefit. Absolutely, this is true. In this universe, which was created by a divine organizing intelligence, there are simply no accidents. That's from Wayne Dyer. Very, very nice, Ash. Thank you for sharing that comment. Rule 138, all investors become traders every time they buy or sell. To have a distinction between an investor and a trader is to make a very, very large mistake. Investors and traders do the same thing. They just do it with different levels of knowledge and different levels of patience. As professional traders, we understand there's a way to lose money, a way to make money, and a way to keep money. The ways to lose money, guaranteed ways to lose money, is to inhabit zone 1 and 2, the certainty zones. The way to actually make money is zone 3, the probability, patience, and rule zone. And the way to keep money, that whispers, not screams. Money is screaming in zone 1 and zone 2. Money is whispering in zone 4, the meaning zone. As professionals, we have probabilistic fearlessness and we take care of volatility because volatility takes care of us. We buy it at support levels down. So when the entire market turns red like this, we're buying. But unfortunately, those people in zone 1 and zone 2 are heading for the door. The best way I can illustrate this is to look at one of the large wallets. And what we see here, this particular wallet buys on the way down. What does this mean? This particular person is buying and suffering a loss. But look, they're increasing their holdings. Why would they be doing that? And so much money. Look at this. 12 million, 13 million, 8 million. You can just get a feeling that this person is buying a lot. 22 million, 22 million, 6 million. What is this all about? Is this person an amateur? No, they're a professional. This is what professionals do. This is contrary to retail thinking. Retail thinking is zone 1 and zone 2. Professional thinking is zone 3, but real wealth thinking is zone 3 and zone 4. Before crypto technical analysis, there was no zone 4. It was all about getting to zone 3 and screaming money. And that's not what life is about. As you go through life, you realize that there's a big, big difference between making money and keeping money. Making money is one skill, but keeping it is a completely different skill. A lot of people get caught up into showing money off. When people get lucky in zone 1 and zone 2, and these are retail thinking zones, they want to go and buy the latest car, and they want to go and buy various things. It's very showy. Real wealth down here in zone 4 is very, very quiet. It whispers, just like Jason said. So you can see why rule 781 is really important. Crypto technical analysis is a skill, but it's also a philosophy. Rule number 4, price moves in waves. This is a absolute life-saving rule. When we turn to crypto fear and greed, we know that there's a lot of fear in the crypto market at the moment. These low levels, well, high levels of fear, low value, they are the ideal time to buy. Now, what typically happens in zone 1 and zone 2, people want to buy the exact bottom, and they feel that if they don't get the exact bottom, they miss out. And if they don't sell at the exact top, they've done something wrong. This is absolutely not the case. Professionals don't even care about tops and bottoms. They look for momentum. They look for accumulation. Just keep on thinking back to this particular wallet. What is happening here? As the wallet is accumulating Bitcoin, for example, the price is coming down. This person is not scared. They're accumulating. Why are they accumulating? Because they're professional. This is what professionals do. And then we see the price come up. What is this wallet doing? It's selling now. It's decreasing its holdings. That's because professionals understand price moves in waves. Literally, professionals scale out when price is coming up. And you can see from that wallet, they scale in. They hold on to losses, ever increasing losses, loss. And then they start to sell when price goes up. And then when fear re-emerges into the market, they buy. And then when things turn around, they start to sell. This is the professional mindset. It couldn't be further from the retail mindset if it possibly tried. But of course, there's more to life than just Bitcoin. But Rule 45 tells us something very, very important. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. It's really helpful for everybody to understand that smart money accumulates on the way down. It's actually stacking those cryptos away, and it wants to buy on the way down because smart money, professional traders and professional investors, they know that the lower the percentage it goes down, the higher the percentage retrace, the more the percentage increase when it comes back up. I'll go through and prove that a little bit later. The other thing that all professional traders and investors know how to do is to draw support and resistance lines. Why are they important? Okay, say we don't have any real support and resistance lines in this area, and we're looking at price around here. And as things go on, what is actually happening? How do we know how to interpret this without support and resistance? I'll just zoom in there a little bit. What happens is when we draw support and resistance lines, those lines are where price tends to gravitate towards. You can see it playing out all the time. If it breaks underneath, it's heading for the next level. If it breaks underneath, it's heading for the next level. But when it starts to break above, it heads for the next level above. This is why we must always draw out our support and resistance lines. So what has actually happened here? We've seen that Bitcoin was respecting this 38,935 level very, very much. It just couldn't break through it. What typically happens when there is a resistance line that is very much reinforced over time, it becomes stronger. That absolutely means the price needs to dip down, gather strength to push through it en masse. This level of resistance is very much tied to this particular area, and when we see price coming down, going back up, can't make it, price regenerating, can't make it, regenerating, can't make it, but really trying very, very hard, can't make it. What we expect is a regeneration. That doesn't mean there won't be more negative downside, because we know with crypto is crazy in terms of its volatility. That's why professionals make in advance probabilistic decisions and choices based on the concept that price can go down, up, or sideways. Retail investment and trading, Zone 1 and Zone 2, only focuses on one direction. Professionals know all three. Zone 1 and Zone 2, investors and traders don't focus on the stock market or the bond market. They don't care. They say crypto is everything. And to us, of course, it is everything. But we also understand that the stock market's gravity and the bond market's gravity will also impact crypto and Bitcoin. Because we want to compress time, we need to look at all those gravities in effect, how they actually impact Bitcoin as well. So we always have Bitcoin's gravity, that blue line, playing out on all of these charts. The first thing we do is to look at the fear index inside the stock market. Masterclass students, you will receive this live chart in TM6. We can see there was a really big spike in fear, followed by a collapse in fear. What does this mean? When fear goes up, prices come down. When fear recedes, prices go up. What we're seeing in the NASDAQ 100, we saw a large sell-off because we couldn't get above this resistance. See how important resistance and support levels are to understand. When we look at oil, oil has been on a tear. What's happening to bond prices? Bond prices are under resistance, and it looks like they may have started another leg down. However, it's not quite conclusive yet. We can see the bond yields. Yields are getting up to a level of resistance. When things hit resistance, they bounce around, and there's sell pressure there. So we need to be aware that we could get some downward momentum in yields. What's happening to gold? Gold is a geopolitically sensitive material. A lot of people say, why don't we just look at Bitcoin? Why can't I just see my beloved alt? Show me my beloved alt. Why are you looking at all this stuff, Ken? It's so boring. I want to sleep. Those people are in Zone 1 and Zone 2, and they will be terrorized. It's really important to stack our probabilities, to move beyond certainty and specific focus. If you're a person that just wants to look at your beloved alt and doesn't care about Bitcoin, you will unfortunately lose money in this market. There's not enough people out there telling people the truth on the crypto market. If you do not look broadly, you will get punished. And our entire focus as a community is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Therefore, getting out of Zone 1 and Zone 2 into Zone 3 is incredibly important. You need to stack probabilities. You need to look far and wide before you ever look at your crypto. And if you're looking at your crypto without a knowledge of what Bitcoin is doing, you will lose money. One really interesting thing here, I expected the DXY to come back into this particular area of support and bounce. It didn't. It actually dropped through it, and this is on volume. Now, what does this actually mean? Generally, when it comes to technical analysis, there are certain parts where certain things should occur, but they don't always occur. It's just a probability. But what is the DXY then? The DXY is a measure of the value of the US dollar relative to the value of a basket of currencies, such as the euro, which is about 58% of the basket, the Japanese yen, the Great British pound, the Canadian dollar, the Swedish krona, and the Swiss franc. When the DXY falls, it means that those trading partners, the major trading partners of the US, their currencies are getting stronger. So what basically happened was the ECB said that they will keep, that's the European Central Bank, said that they will keep interest rates at record low levels. There's a couple of other factors, but that's probably the main one. So when we see this very strong area of support through here, when price was up here, the fact that it sliced through, that's why we want to dig a little bit more deeply. The fact that gold is not basically going up the wall at the moment is actually a really good sign. That means that a potential war between Russia and Ukraine is not being seen as likely. Things can turn around on a dime, so just be careful. But the concept is gold selling off like this and then just coming back to this level is indicating that war is not imminent. All of these things impact Bitcoin. If bond prices start to go up parabolically, if gold goes up parabolically, if the US dollar goes up parabolically, it can all impact Bitcoin. There's also some news about C19. We've got about 388.1 million cases worldwide. And if we go down and look at the number of cases yesterday, what we see, there were over 3 million cases, nearly 3.1 million cases just yesterday. If you've been following the news recently, you may have seen something on NeoCov. NeoCov is like an intersection between SARS-CoV-2 and MERS-CoV. MERS-CoV is Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, and that was first identified in 2012. What's happened is that there's been a particular non-peer-reviewed journal article come out in collaboration with the Chinese Academy of Sciences and Wuhan University, identifying NeoCov in bats in South Africa. This is the particular journal article that I'm talking about. It's quite extensive, and you can see it's not just a small thing. Many people write it off as not much, but I'd like to look more deeply into things. With that in mind, I reached out to one of the world's foremost experts on this, Eric Feigl-Deng. Eric and I are friends, and we did a lot of work together when SARS-CoV-2 or C19 first came out. I did work on the stats for Eric and a number of other people. I basically asked Eric, how serious is this? Eric basically said, we've got to keep our eye on it, but it hasn't jumped to humans, and it's a little bit variable at the moment as to what will happen. I really trust what Eric says. And if you're on Twitter, you might like to give him a follow. That's at Dr. Eric Deng. He's a great guy too. So at the moment, it hasn't made the jump between bats and humans, but with these viruses circulating all over the place right now, who knows what can happen in the future? We'll just keep our eye on it. Don't do any light switching of positions, and just an important thing, that was a preliminary scientific report. It wasn't peer-reviewed, so it should not be regarded as conclusive guidance for clinical practice and health-related behavior. In zones 1 and 2, the certainty zones, people do what is called light switching. When they hear something that it's negative, that it looks really bad, for example, a war between Russia and Ukraine, they immediately sell all their holdings. Or if they, for example, hear about another virus, they can jump. What we do is we are not into the light switch effect. Everything that we do together inside our community is to get people out of zone 1 and zone 2 into zone 3, and especially zone 4. In zone 3, we do a dimmer effect. We turn the light on gradually. That means we buy at support levels down, and then we turn the light off gradually. That means we sell at levels up. We need to look inclusively through the market because it all matters, and we know that crypto is just a babe in the woods in comparison to major investment classifications. What we can see here, and Masterclass students, you will get this in TM3, these are the transportation indexes. One key one that I really like to look at is this airlines index. If we manage to get across this resistance level, we're still under resistance, but if we manage to get across resistance, this could be a reopening trade. That's really, really good. And the other thing to note, when particular economic crises happen, what typically happens is the transport indexes all plummet. We're not seeing evidence of that. We've got a wave up. Definitely, we've had a wave up and a wave down, but this is pretty much just normal price action. If we were seeing these indexes just falling off the cliff, that could be something different. That's why we need to look at it. And if we don't look at it, we can get trapped in exactly the wrong time of the market. Central banks around the world are all talking about fighting inflation, but what's inflation actually doing? How can we step back from what we read in the newspaper and look at things objectively? Masterclass students, you will get this in TM4. What we actually see is the 10-year break-even inflation rate is coming down. The 5-year break-even inflation rate is actually increasing. This creates something of interest to us. What it's showing is that there is potentially inflation mounting underneath the hood, but from a long-term perspective, not so much. That's why there is a divergence between these two things. And we always notice that the NASDAQ actually drives these inflation rates up and down. And that makes sense. As the market moves up, there is optimism and people go out and buy things. And they're prepared to pay more because, hey, good times ahead. But if everything starts to plummet, people will start saving, and then, bad times ahead. They won't actually spend as much. So it makes a tremendous amount of sense. We're starting to see a bit of a flattening out in the volatility of the Chinese property market segment. Masterclass students, you'll get this live chart in TM5. What we're doing now is stacking probabilities. We're in zone 3. Zone 1 and zone 2 people only want to look at their beloved alts, and who can blame them? They don't know how much you need to actually know to trade inside crypto. And don't forget, all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. So what we're seeing when we look at Russian market sentiment, and Masterclass students, you'll get this in LV8, what we can see is the Russian market has been coming down. It did a bit of a retracement, now it's coming down again. This would advise us that there may be economic instability, there may be a threat of war. That's what I see when I look at that. We're not seeing a similar spike in gold, and the USD is actually weakening. So this could potentially be just a price moving in waves thing, but I would personally keep my eye on it. Returning to Bitcoin, we've looked at the macroeconomic picture. We've gone across bond prices, bond yields, the dollar, gold, the indices, fear, countries, debt crises, disease. We've covered it all basically. What we see is that there could be a potential move down to 34,178 or a retesting of this 38,935 level. It really depends on how much fear is inside retail investors at the moment. Retail investors can move markets, and they definitely do, and they're basically goaded on by the institutions. Tales from the Man Cave, a CTKS ambassador, said, "We have a backdrop of seemingly negative events circulating in the news." Absolutely. Retail gets worried and sets stop losses in case it gets worse. What those stop losses are all about, people basically typically go long in retail because understanding buying low, selling high makes a lot of sense. Shorting can be a very counterintuitive thing to do. A stop loss generally is a long position where people sell. Now, what institutions do is they love to drive the price down, trigger cascading stop losses so it spikes down. That's what those long spikes are for. That's what the institutions prey on. And yes, they can see them in the market as well. Let's have a look. Let's just go on with what Tails says. Institutions go and hunt them out by dumping some of their holdings to make that retail fear come true. So really, it's the fear of something happening and reacting to that even though nothing happened, which causes prices to go down. Not potential black swans, precisely why we look through the entire market, assess that there is no factual reason for elevated worry to find, and start acting fearlessly as a result. Very good, Tails. I really love what Tails wrote here. I think it's so applicable and so relatable. Well done, my friend. It's a little bit like a well-made horror film. Most of the time, there's no monster, but you fear that there might be because the setting fits. And that's why we jump and sked so well. Set up and pay off, a classic concept in dramatic writing, by the way. Looking at the market like a horror film. Wow, what an incredibly creative thing to do. And Tails is incredibly creative. This is how creative Tails is. Kenman is like a Pac-Man. What we do inside our community, we buy long tail rejections, and you can see it's such a good thing to do because as price goes up and down, it's always moving in a wave. We don't want to buy up here, we want to buy down there. We're actually accumulating and lowering our average buy price. This is how professionals work. And thanks so much, Tails. You are so talented. So we can see price coming up trying to breach this 37,406, currently a resistance line. When we get above there, we need to tackle this next one at 37,979. And when we get above 38,935, I think things are going to actually start moving because so many people in the market are negative right now. Sometimes it's really good to look at Bitcoin options. These are expiring at the end of the month. What we actually see, the put-call ratio is very low, so there's a greater expectation of higher prices. Max pain, which is the point at which the majority of options expire worthless, is 40,000, and we can see prices even up to the 140,000 level. So by the end of Feb, a lot of people are expecting higher prices. With that in mind, let's have a look at Rule 28, opportunities reset daily. When we looked earlier on, the entire market looked pretty red, and now it's getting much greener. This is the concept in action. Price moves in waves. Of course, always follow your own advice, and remember Rule 444. Ignore tips, advice, and marketing. I don't do any marketing at all in this channel, and no other channels as well. I don't believe in marketing. I get a lot of people reaching out to me every day, and I just basically say, no thanks. Let's have a look at the top 8. What we can see here, Bitcoin has been coming down for 3 months, 88 days. That's a really, really long period of time, and a lot of people are getting really, really tired. Come on, Bitcoin, get your act together. What are you doing? And we can see we're still, if you like, this very tight level of resistance that's been passed, but we're still under a level of resistance coming down here. It's starting to look like we're overcoming that, but looking more deeply, we're not there yet. Looking at Ethereum, we can see Ethereum has bounced quite well. And look at Bitcoin's gravity, this blue line. You can see no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. If we don't look macroeconomically, we cannot figure what is happening with Bitcoin. It's really critically important to understand. When we look at Binance Coin is still under pressure, but it's following Bitcoin's gravity. Solana, doing quite well. It really spiked up, but when Bitcoin came down, it came down. There's no escaping the gravity. Cardano is just consolidating along, just playing out a little bit differently from Bitcoin's gravity at the moment. XRP consolidating just like ADA. We can see DOT actually increasing. Notice the difference, consolidating on ADA and XRP, going up on DOT. What do we see here with Luna? Very spiky. Luna is a really spiky crypto, but that can be excellent. Because we don't have the retail mindset, Zone 1 and Zone 2, we have professional mindset, Zone 3 and Zone 4, and we look at these particular areas where price comes down hard, and we want to participate. We want to do that Pac-Man kind of behavior. We can see Dogecoin, like ADA and XRP, just consolidating, as is SHIB, as is Litecoin. And we can see that there's been a bit of action recently in Filecoin, but File is a long, long way away from its resistance level. We can see more strength in AVAX and Matic, and more strength between AVAX and Matic in actually AVAX. We can also see Chainlink did really well, but it's sold down with Bitcoin's gravity. Chainlink seems to be very much on a par with elevating its price action in accordance with the direction of price movements in Bitcoin. Please bear this one in mind. I think as Bitcoin improves, we could see some really, really interesting things happen in Chainlink. It's really interesting to look at Mana. Mana was coming up, and what we said, just buy at support levels down. Let's have a look how that has actually played out. That was the first support level. That was a participation level. Did we hit the next one? Let's have a look. Yes, we did. Did we hit the next one? Yes, we did. Let's go forward. Did we hit the next one? No, we didn't. And price is starting to get above resistance here. This is why we always buy at support levels down. Around 21 days ago, we started looking at Rose, and I thought it was a really interesting thought experiment. What we saw is Rose's value just coming up and up and up. In fact, it rose 87.87%. And what I said, around this level, we would be interested in buying at support levels down. And what we've seen is Rose came down, and it came down pretty hard. But that's the whole crypto market, did exactly the same. So nothing out of the ordinary. But what is really important to understand, when we buy in levels down, going down like this, we can see the current price has decreased by 43.76%. For example, if you are unlucky enough to put $10,000 into Rose up at this peak of about 59,800, what would happen is you would basically lose $4,376 to this point. When you actually buy at levels down, you lower your average loss, and this is an incredibly important thing to do. All professionals do it. Just think of this particular wallet amassing millions, tens of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin just day in, day out. So we could even see at one stage Rose came down around 53%. Now what happens when Rose just comes back up to this 59,800 mark? Even if it was at today's price and Rose just recovered to that particular 59,800 mark. And this is the difference between zone 1 and zone 2 and zone 3 and zone 4. In zone 3 and 4, we use exact precision. We don't round off. We don't do 0.6, 0.5, 0.55. We use the number of decimal places that are there. What we can see is even though it came down at its worst 52.9%, if it just comes back and reaches that previous high, and there's no reason to expect that it won't do that, we would go up 77.52% just from there. But what if we had have bought lower, for example down near this tail, 112.32%. This is why we use the magic of percentages for our benefit. This is what all professionals do. What does that mean? Are we basically saying, let's go all in and more right now? Absolutely not. That's not what we do. Crypto technical analysts know that we never ever buy at market. We buy in support levels down. And just be careful about your exchange. You don't want to pay too much in the way of fees. And you might look at this and say, what would you do that for? Because it's the percentage up. If we manage to come down lower, look at the percentage increase, up over 350%. We exist for lower prices and these big spikes going down. Let's have a look at some community favorites. Veracity, still under resistance, but getting really, really close to getting out of resistance. I believe when VRA starts to shine, it will shine really well. But just bear in mind, that could take a little bit of time. We need Bitcoin to turn around first. And Bitcoin has been coming down for 3 months, so we expect it to do a wave up for at least a month at some stage when it actually decides to go up. So when we look at ICX, Icon is doing really well. It's bypassed its first level of resistance. It's getting past a second one now. It's looking to bottom out, but this may take time, and always make volatility your best friend. Buy in layers down, even if it looks absolutely guaranteed to turn around. We can see sushi just consolidating like XRP and ADA and so many others in the crypto space. When these things bounce, they're going to bounce hard, but don't let that FOMO you into anything. IOTA is doing really well. It's actually doing some interesting things. Let's zoom in there. That's a bit better. You can see Masterclass students using the EC method. You can see that this is over resistance. What we're actually looking at here, the blue line, it is Bitcoin's gravity. Look at how IOTA is following Bitcoin's gravity. This is really, really important to understand. When you understand this, it's a game changer. Basically, what we see is that there's a level of resistance that's being overcome on the 8-hour, and we're just anticipating getting over this very substantial resistance at 114.15 when it comes to IOTA. And of course, the individual alts can bypass Bitcoin's gravity, so please bear this in mind. Bypasses occur all the time, but they're generally short-lived. Looking at Phantom, we can see Phantom has had a good amount of positive momentum in the market, especially compared to other cryptos. But what we may see is a retesting of this support around 154.32, potentially. And we always put buy orders into the market at layers of support going down. These are 10, 5, 10 level orders. When looking at Crypto.com, we can see Crypto.com is absolutely following Bitcoin's fingerprint to a T, and the same can be said with Gala. When you understand how important Bitcoin's fingerprint is to your beloved alts, that's why we spend so much time trying to understand the macroeconomics of crypto and where things could be headed. Looking into LRC, what we can see is LRC has been following Bitcoin's fingerprint quite closely. When Bitcoin turns around, and just think about it like this, 3 months down, 1 month up would be very fair, but we don't know if the 1 month up is coming right now, but we always know the price moves in a wave. What are we seeing here with Loopring? Loopring has come down from its peak 83.2%. If it just manages to get back up to its peak, it will actually increase 494.53%. This is why we always want to buy on the way down. We're professionals, and holding on to a paper loss doesn't bother us at all. Just think of this particular wallet, what paper losses would be held onto when you're putting 12, 13 million, 8 million, 9 million, 22 million, 22, 6 million in. That is a lot of loss, and these people don't care because they are professionals. They know what it means. If you would like to reach out to me on Twitter, my particular Twitter handle is at StandfieldKen, STANDFILD. Well, I like to stand around in a field and be Ken. So you can reach out to me anytime and direct message me if you'd like. I love all our community members who reach out and say, Ken, is this person legitimate? Does this person represent you? And sometimes they don't. There's a lot of scammers out there, so you can always let me know and I will hunt scammers down. That is my favorite activity. That's my hobby. I'd like to thank everybody in the community that reached out and did their comments on YouTube. Just fantastic. I would like to clarify something about India and the 30% taxation. The problem in India at the moment, they're legalizing crypto and they're saying whatever profit you make, for example, if you make $10,000 profit in crypto, you'll pay 30% or $3,000 tax. That's not the issue. The issue is that if you make a profit of 10,000 and then you promptly make a loss of 10,000, you cannot deduct the loss component. So instead of paying no tax because your profit minus your loss would be zero, the Indian government is saying, oh, don't worry about the losses, we'll just tax you on the profit. That is the issue that I was talking about, not about the 30% taxation, but about capital loss deductibility. Every other country bar India has an offset provision in their taxation regimes. The fact that India does not have that will be something that will be addressed over time. I expect that this is a very short-term thing, because what they've actually done inadvertently is they've opened the doors on crypto adoption. They're literally the Indian government is in zone 1 and zone 2. They're FOMOing into crypto, and they're not looking at how things actually work. I would suggest that if you're in India, get involved with some kind of lobby group to start to lobby crypto-based legislation and start to say to the Indian government, hey, taxing profit is fine. Every single country on the planet does that, but they also allow deductibility of losses. Get in line, people. I'd like to very much thank Anisha for her kind comment. Ken, your channel deserves the first class Rolls-Royce award. Thank you so much, my friend. That's really nice. I'm just in awe with the amount of information you share with us. I used to watch a bunch of influencers in the past and made some irrational decisions until I discovered your channel. Nowadays, I'm only looking forward to your daily stream. Thank you. I love your masterclass and am taking the time to digest all the information there. Thanks, Anisha. That's really, really lovely of you. And the masterclass, always take your time. Just go step by step. Go slow to go fast. And everything I do inside the masterclass is to transfer my knowledge and skills built over more than 3 decades to you. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. And please, you can always reach out to me if you're unsure of anything that you encounter, any person or any email. I thought that what we could discuss in the comments section on YouTube, how do you feel holding paper losses? How do you feel now? And potentially, how did you feel before you were part of our community? That could be a really good thing to discuss. Paper losses can be incredibly stressful, but if you share what your interpretation and what your overcoming of paper losses is with others, I think it could help so many people. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as where you can find the CTKS ambassadors, also where you can find the masterclass, and you can reach out and contact me on Twitter. My address is in there for you as well. And the CTKS ambassadors are really precious. They can give you an 80% discount on the masterclass. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.